How to fix a relationship that's falling apart. You're lying in bed next to her, but she feels a million miles away. You both used to laugh, share everything, and couldn't keep your hands off each other. Now it's awkward silence, quick glances, endless questions in your mind. What happened? Is it over? Can we fix this? If this hits home, stick around. By the end of this video, you not only know if your relationship can be saved, but also exactly what steps you need to take to repair it, starting today. Jessica OS here, welcome to the channel. Most men think that relationships crumble because of one big catastrophic event like infidelity, a huge argument, or financial challenges. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most relationships don't end with a bang. They die slowly, eroded by everyday neglect, unresolved issues, etc. Think about it. When was the last time you noticed a tiny crack in your relationship but brushed it off, thinking it wasn't a big deal? Maybe you ignored her when she hinted that she felt unappreciated. Or maybe you dismissed that uncomfortable silence as just one of those days. These small, seemingly insignificant moments pile up over time until they become a mountain too big to climb. Relationships rarely fall apart overnight. It starts with subtle changes that are easy to overlook. Neglect. The compliments and sweet gestures that once came naturally now feel like a chore or don't happen at all. Miscommunication. You think you're expressing yourself, but she hears something completely different or vice versa. Over time, you both stop trying to explain. 3. Resentment. One or both of you start harboring grudges, even over minor things. Left unchecked, these feelings grow like weeds, choking out the love you once shared. Relationships are like plants. If you water them, give them sunlight, and remove the weeds, they'll thrive. But if you stop caring for them, they'll wither. When she sees that you're no longer putting in the effort to maintain the relationship, she begins to feel like the love isn't mutual. When that happens, even a small disagreement can feel like the last straw. When the emotional connection weakens, a destructive cycle often begins. Number 1, she feels neglected and pulls back emotionally. 2, you'll notice her pulling back, but instead of addressing the root cause, you either ignore it or respond with frustration. 3, this causes her to react even further, creating a downward spiral of disconnection. Let me make this clear. Fixing a relationship means stopping the cycle before it's too late. You can't fix a relationship by yourself, but you can take the first step to lead the way. If you're sitting there hoping she'll magically come around, it's time for a wake-up call. When a relationship starts falling apart, most men make one of 2 critical mistakes that only make things worse. The first mistake is chasing harder. I get it. When she's pulling away, it's natural to panic, right? You think, I need to prove I care, I need to fix this. So you go all in, sending her long emotional texts, constantly asking if she's okay or smothering her with attention. But here's the problem. Chasing makes you look desperate. When you chase her, you're telling her you're afraid to lose her, and fear is not attractive. Mistake 2, withdrawing completely. Now the flip side of mistake 1 is this, Some men go into shutdown mode. Maybe you feel hurt, rejected, or even angry that she's not meeting you halfway. So you respond by pulling away entirely. You stop trying to engage, stop initiating conversations, and let the distance grow. The thing is, your withdrawal doesn't solve anything. It only confirms her fears. If she's already feeling unloved or disconnected, your silence will scream louder than any words. Instead of healing the rift, you're going to make it wider. So what do you do instead? Number 1, show leadership. Women respect men who take initiative. Instead of waiting for her to tell you what's wrong or fix things for you, take the lead. Say something like, I've been thinking about where we're at, and I believe I haven't been showing up the way I should. I want to change that. Now, this statement doesn't just show maturity, it shows her you value the relationship enough to take responsibility. Number 2, reassure without chasing. Reassurance is different from desperation. It's about creating emotional safety without overwhelming her. This might look like saying, I know things haven't felt right lately, but I'm committed to figuring this out together. The key? You want to leave room for her to respond and not push her. Let her process your effort at her own pace. 3, break the reactive cycle. The typical reactive cycle in a failing relationship looks like this. She pulls back. You react emotionally. She pulls back even more and you react even harder. The way to break this cycle is by staying calm and grounded. If she seems distant, resist the urge to react impulsively. Instead, take a step back, focus on understanding her perspective. Sometimes just acknowledging her feelings is enough to start closing that gap. Example, instead of saying, "Why are you acting like this?" say, "I notice you've been quieter than usual. Is something on your mind?" The truth is, fixing a relationship requires patience, effort, and emotional control. You can't force her to reconnect, but you can create the space and conditions for that connection to rebuild. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how to rekindle that emotional spark and bring her closer to you. So keep watching, because this is where the real transformation will happen. Step 1, own your role. Let's get real. You can't fix a relationship if you don't acknowledge your part in its breakdown. It's not about taking all the blame. That's neither fair nor productive. But the truth is, relationships are partnerships, and both people contribute to the dynamic, for better, for worse. If you want to repair what's broken, the first step is looking inward. When things start going south, it's easy to point fingers. She's distant, she's changed, she's not the same woman I fell in love with. While these things might be true, they don't tell the whole story. Most women won't just check out for no reason. She's pulling back because something isn't working and she doesn't feel emotionally safe enough to talk about it, or she's tried and you didn't notice. Here's the thing. Blame keeps you stuck. Ownership moves you forward. When you step up and take accountability for your part, you create trust and reconnection. Before you can fix anything, you need to understand what went wrong on your end. Ask yourself these questions. Have I been emotionally present? Do you truly listen when she talks, or are you distracted by work, your phone, other thoughts? Ask yourself, am I communicating openly? Do you share your feelings and thoughts with her, or do you bottle them up and expect her to read your mind? Ask yourself, have I been putting in the effort? Honestly, think about it. When was the last time you planned something special, gave her a genuine compliment, or made her feel prioritized? Be brutally honest. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the first step towards change. Acknowledging your role doesn't mean drowning in guilt or apologizing for things you didn't do. It's showing her that you're self-aware and willing to grow. If you skip this step and try to jump straight into fixing things, you're going to build this on a shaky foundation. Step 2, rebuild the emotional connection. When a relationship is falling apart, most people focus on the surface level problems, the arguments, lack of intimacy, or general tension. The truth is, these are symptoms and not the cause. At the heart of every thriving relationship is a strong emotional connection, and when that connection fades, everything else unravels. If you're serious about fixing your relationship, rebuilding the emotional connection is non-negotiable. Here's how you should do it. First, you want to start with vulnerability. Many men struggle with it. You might think showing your feelings will make you look weak, or that she'll use your honesty against you. But when you open up about your fears and hopes, and even where you think you went wrong, you make her feel safe to do the same. Instead of saying, everything's fine, say, I've been feeling a little distant lately, and I think we need to work on reconnecting. Instead of reacting defensively during arguments, say, I see where I might hurt you, and I want to understand how you feel. Second thing you want to do is to ask better questions. If all your conversations are about chores, work, or what to have for dinner, it's no wonder that things are feeling stale. Women crave depth in conversations because that's where intimacy is built. So instead, you can ask questions like this. What's something that you've been thinking about lately that excites or worries you? If you could change one thing about your life right now, what would it be? What's a dream you've had that we haven't talked about in a while? These questions go beyond small talk and show her that you genuinely care about her. What you want to do while all of this is going on is also listen without interrupting or trying to solve her problems. Because sometimes she just wants to be heard and doesn't necessarily need a fix. 3, use nostalgia to rekindle positive emotions. When the emotional connection fades, it's easy to focus on what's wrong. But sometimes the best way to rebuild is to remind yourself of what was once right. See? Nostalgia is a powerful tool for reigniting feelings of closeness and love. Bring up happy memories to recreate meaningful moments. For example, you can plan a date at a restaurant where you first had your first dinner or first date, or watch a movie that you first saw together. 4, give her your full attention. Let me be blunt. Your phone is not more important than your relationship. When she's talking, scrolling through IG or glancing at a TV will send a clear message that you're not worth my attention. So to show that you're fully present, do the following. When she talks, look her in the eye and nod to show that you're engaged. Paraphrase what she's saying to show that you really are listening. You can say something like, so what you're saying is, you felt like I dismissed your feelings last week? Create dedicated time for her. No distractions, no multitasking. Trust me, women notice the little things. When you're attentive, it doesn't just make her feel heard, it'll make her feel loved. 5, show empathy, not sympathy. To be clear, empathy means putting yourself in her shoes and truly understanding what she's going through. Sympathy, on the other hand, is just feeling sorry for her. Empathy will create connection. Sympathy can feel condescending. If she's upset, don't say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Instead say, I can see why that would hurt you. I'll feel the same if I were in your shoes. Reflect on her words. You're saying you feel like I haven't been supportive enough. I hear that, and I want to work on it. Empathy shows her that you're not just hearing her words, you're actually understanding her emotions. 6, rebuild trust through small actions. If the emotional connection has been damaged, there's a good chance that trust has taken a hit as well. Rebuilding trust doesn't require grand gestures. It requires consistent, small actions that show her you're dependable. What you want to do to rebuild trust is to follow through on your promises, no matter how small. Be transparent. If you're running late, let her know instead of making excuses. Be patient. Trust takes time to rebuild, and you can't rush it. Step 3, reignite physical and emotional intimacy. When a relationship starts to fall apart, intimacy, both physical and emotional, is often one of the first casualties. The spark that once made your connection magnetic feels like it's disappeared, and you're left wondering, well, can we ever get it back? The answer is actually yes, but it won't happen by accident. Intimacy requires intentional effort. If you're ready to rekindle the passion and connection, here's exactly what you can do. Understand the link between emotional and physical intimacy. That's the first thing. Now get this, for women, emotional intimacy often precedes physical intimacy. If she doesn't feel emotionally connected to you, she's unlikely to desire you physically. Remember that. So if things have gone cold in the bedroom, chances are there's an emotional gap that needs to be bridged first. Secondly, flirt like you did in the beginning, right? Remember how you used to flirt when you guys first met? You teased her, you complimented her, and couldn't keep your hands off her. Somewhere along the line, life probably got busy, and that playful energy faded. But you know, flirting doesn't just build attraction, it keeps the relationship fun. 3, create moments of mystery and desire. Truth is, sometimes a little distance can actually reignite attraction. When you're always available, there's no space for curiosity or longing, and women are drawn to men who maintain a sense of individuality and mystery. 4, reintroduce physical touch gradually. If physical intimacy has been lacking, diving straight back into it will feel awkward or forced. So instead, you want to start small and work your way up. How to reintroduce physical touch? You want to start with a non-sexual touch. Hold her hand, give her a long hug, place your hand on her knee while sitting next to her. These small gestures will build comfort and trust. 2, use sensory connection. Lightly touch her arm when you're talking or kiss her forehead before bed. These subtle actions will create warmth without pressure. 3, be patient. Don't rush. Let the physical connection rebuild naturally over time. And pay attention to her responses. If she seems receptive, build on it. If she's hesitant, give her space and continue focusing on emotional intimacy. Be intentional about the time you spend together. One of the easiest ways to lose intimacy is letting life get in the way. Work, kids, daily stress can quickly push your relationship to the back burner. To reignite intimacy, you need to prioritize quality time together. How do you do it? Schedule regular date nights, try something new, and disconnect to reconnect. And by that I mean set aside an hour each day where both of you can put away your devices and focus on each other. You see, it's not about the amount of time, it's the quality of time. Even if it's 20 minutes of focused connection, it will and can make a huge difference. Make her feel desired. So there's a truth that women rarely admit, okay? We want to feel wanted. When a woman feels desired, it will boost her confidence and deepen her attraction for you. How do you show this desire? Express it verbally. Say things like, hey, I've been thinking about you all day, or you drive me crazy in the best way. Use body language. Make eye contact, lean in closer when she's talking. Let your touch linger. Be present during intimacy. Show her that you're fully engaged, not just physically, but emotionally as well. When to walk away. All right, so let's face it, not every relationship can or should be saved. I mean, sometimes despite your best effort, the relationship may have reached a point where it's no longer healthy for either of you. And even though this may be painful, it also is an opportunity to free yourself from a situation that no longer serves you. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you get notified every single time I post. The name is Jessica OS. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.